Hey everybody, it's Zach, and it's time for another week of Bachelorette review. I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm real tired. This week's multiple episodes were a little boring, and I don't know how this video is gonna go, because I, quite honestly, didn't enjoy this week. I just didn't. I didn't enjoy it, but like, not even in like a I hate this show, why am I watching it kind of way. It just like was boring. It was boring and anticlimactic, and they built it up to be something that was really fairly low-key and like not that big of a deal. Let's see. I don't know. It started off, they kind of rehashed some of the Lee and Kenny stuff. I'm gonna go a little bit out of chronological order because Lee and Kenny comes to like a climax in the middle of the two episodes, like right at the end of the first one and the beginning of the second one. So I'm gonna save that, even though they do touch on it a little bit at the beginning. So Rachel has a one-on-one date though with Jack. I didn't feel the connection. It was clear that he was being prepared to be sent home. He was super awkward. They were dancing with a bunch of old people who were also awkward. And I was just so bored. I was so bored. That's all I can say about it. It was boring. She clearly was very uncomfortable. I just want to say she used the Regina George I'm sick line on him. Like, she literally was like pushing away from him so that he wouldn't kiss her. Like, it was clear that she was very uncomfortable and didn't want to be any part of that date. So of course it's not a surprise that he was sent home after it was all said and done. So, you know, whatever. Bye, Jack Stone. They did have the rose ceremony. You know, Rachel's all like, I'm an independent woman. I don't need no cocktail party to determine if I'm gonna, like, pick somebody or not. So she has it, and I just have to say, if there's anything these two episodes taught me, it was like, who are some of these people? Like, this Matt guy got a rose. Who is Matt? Has he been here the whole time? I'm not sure. But you know what? Bless her for sending Iggy packing, because I think I talked in the last one, like, I think he needed to get a life. He was so obsessed with Josiah. You know, R.I.P. Tickle Monster. I kept saying, like, how does this guy keep getting through? And I'm still not sure how he got as far as he did, but the Tickle Monster will be missed. I think in the last video I also was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that they went all the way to South Carolina to film. But then in this episode, they get on a plane and go to Norway. What? What show is this? I'm so confused. This is so elaborate and unnecessary. Like, it's so extra. Brian had a one-on-one. He's super cute. Like, I'm still definitely here for him. And sorry about my hair. I just, like, I don't know. It's the week of lazy hair, don't care. Yeah, the one thing I will say from Brian's date is that she, and by she I mean Rachel, repelled off of that thing in heels. Homegirl was wearing heels. Like, get after it. And how romantically you're like making out in midair. Like, what? Obviously he was gonna get a rose. He got a rose. It's whatever. She obviously really likes him. He's a great guy, so I don't see why she wouldn't. The group date, I don't know, handball, how many sports are we gonna play? Like, have these dudes play? Like, I don't really care, but those outfits, on point, on point. I would, let's just make a show with these guys in these outfits, if we're being honest. Like, what? Question about the outfits though, why was Dean wearing his jockstrap on the outside of the uniform? I'm not mad about it, but it seemed a little... I was shook that she didn't pick Peter to give the rose to. Like, I thought for sure she was going to, and then she gave it to Will. Like, that made no sense to me. Like, she literally spent 3 hours in a hot tub with Peter, so what's that about? After the group date, that all leads up to the drama, or really the anti-drama, of Lee versus Kenny. Lee had previously in the episode talked about how Kenny was playing the race card, which is just so annoying because I just like don't even know how to describe my annoyance with folks playing whatever card, right? Because like that's just a way to automatically dismiss somebody's experience without really listening or trying to understand where they're coming from. And, you know, what really grinds my gears is I think it was Will was like trying to educate Lee. He was like really actually doing that, which like people of color should not have to educate anybody. Like, it's not their responsibility to sit there and hold your hand, especially when Google is free. He was like clearly not trying to listen, and this 2-on-1 date was just so uncomfortable. Like, Kenny clearly was not in the wrong. Like, Lee is obviously a sociopath. I don't even know how else to say it. Like, he made up clear lies about like Kenny trying to pull him from a van and Kenny being violent, and I'm just like not here for it, especially after Will tried to tell him how black men have been characterized and stereotyped as being violent and aggressive. Like, Lee is clearly a racist. Like, I'm just gonna call it, because like all these other guys in the show, Will included, tried to skirt around the issue of calling it what it is. And maybe let's not call him racist, but his behavior, his actions, his words, racist. Clearly he was lying, and Rachel is a smart woman, sees through that, sends him home. Now here's the other part that I'm like, what? Because Kenny could have just left and got into a helicopter with her, but no, he says, you go to this helicopter, I'm gonna go back and talk to Lee. Why would you do that? You are here for Rachel. Forget about this nonsense. She already said she don't want him. Like, if I was Rachel at that point, I would have said, you both can go home. I do not have time for this juvenile nonsense. Now, my whole fear was that they were going to show Kenny at some point actually being violent, and I'm just like, how would people respond to that, and like him fulfilling that stereotype? And I'm glad that he didn't get violent, but they kept playing it up. Like, this show, The Bachelorette, clearly wanted people to perceive him that way, and so that's why I'm also, I think, irritated with this week's episodes, because like they were clearly exploiting Lee's racism, Kenny potentially having the capacity to be violent, to get these views. I'm like, am I on YouTube right now? Are like they clickbaiting? Of course they are. Of course they are. They even kept showing previews for Kenny bleeding, but that was clearly from a different like group date that he went on in the second episode. So why are you doing that, ABC? Like, y'all are ridiculous, and I'm over it, and I'm not here for it, and I won't have it. So after that, it was really honestly quite boring. Like, the rest of it was all quite boring. You know, they had another rose ceremony. Actually, there's like 3 rose ceremonies in the span of these 2 episodes. Like, some weeks there's not even one, I feel like. So I don't know how this works. But Matt got another rose. Again, I don't know who he is. But was not surprised to see Josiah go. And honestly don't remember much about Anthony. But I did love where they showed Adam Jr. in a window, because he apparently came with them to Norway, so that was funny. I lived for that. Eric went on a one-on-one, and honestly, I think I've expressed that I think his like fragile masculinity is too much for me, but I'm glad he's finally getting the chance to go on a one-on-one date with her, so that we can stop hearing about him being upset that he hasn't had a one-on-one. Like, I honestly don't like him, but good for him. It seemed like they had a good time. It seems like they could potentially be compatible. They had a group date where they pretended to be Vikings. The Viking instructors, those 2 like old white dudes that they brought in, those were funny, but also like over the top. I didn't know what to think about that. But this little group date did remind me that Adam was a person. Like, how is it that I remember Adam Jr. but don't really think that much about Adam? Like, Adam Jr.'s not even real. Again, they pumped up this like blood thing, like it was gonna show Kenny being violent. I'm not here for it, but whatever. And then after all of that nonsense that Kenny had with Lee, Kenny's like, I don't even know if I want to be here. I think I'm gonna go. Bye. Sir, what? Really? Really? You don't think your daughter could have waited 2 more weeks? How long had you already been away from her? Like, what a waste of my time. Do I look like I have an abundance of time around here? Like, I'm currently looking around my apartment and I'm not finding any, like, extra time. The one-on-one date with Will was boring. This show is so predictable. Like, within the first few minutes of the one-on-one date, you could tell that she was going to give him the axe at the end. And I will say one thing that I don't think was fair to Will is that it seemed like there was a lot of judgment for him not actively dating black women when, and I love Rachel and I don't care who she dates, obviously, and she's clearly said that she's open to whoever, but like, I don't know that it's fair for her to judge him on that fact when literally now the only person left that's a person of color is Eric, I think, unless I'm forgetting about somebody, which is completely possible. So it's just like, I don't know, girl, like, pot kettle black much? And I don't know, maybe that was a poor choice of words, but like, they had another rose ceremony, was not ready for it really, to be honest. Like, I assumed that they were going to give us some kind of clickbait, and this really feels like the only time that I've watched all season that they didn't end the episode on some kind of cliffhanger. But they had another rose ceremony. I was shocked and appalled that both Matt and Adam, who I don't remember anything about, got roses and Alex didn't. Like, Alex has been one of my top guys for a few weeks now, and so I'm just really hurt. Like, I feel betrayed by Rachel, if we're being honest. Like, it just doesn't seem fair. So, that was like the episode for the week. The 2 episodes for the week. Again, I don't know, I just was not feeling invested. I clearly feel several types of ways about the Lee and Kenny thing, but now that's over. They're both gone. They're not here, whatever. So I'm gonna move forward. And I do want to continue my tradition. So this week's tops are Peter, Brian, and Dean for me. And the bottoms are basically everybody else, but especially Matt and Adam, because who, what, where, why, I don't know them. Well, that's all I got for this week. Stay tuned for more videos from me. If you want to see them, make sure you click subscribe, hit like, and leave a comment down below. I'll see y'all later. Bye!